I opened 500 time capsules in Subnautica, and here's what their contents say about the player base. When you finish your journey on 4546b, one of the options presented to you is to launch a time capsule from your rocket that another player could then discover in their world. Your capsule has 6 inventory slots, a place for a screenshot, and a text box for you to write a message to your capsule's recipient. So I ventured around the ocean depths searching for 500 different time capsules left behind by previous aquanauts, and I analyzed what each one contributed to the Subnautica community. Here's what I found. The very first time capsule I found regaled a story of being lonely and finding an unexpected friend in hatching an egg that turned out to be a bone shark, this person named Lulu. Lulu's story was accompanied by some lovely art, which was one of a few capsules that I found that had their own renditions of various Subnautica elements attached. Notably, Capsule 486 was written by Chops, a technical artist for Unknown Worlds, which is the dev team behind Subnautica. Their capsule included a hand-drawn concept map for where the active lava zone would eventually go, which was a really cool find. Some of the art was higher level than others, like these really great sketches by the friend of Yuki Spackle that I found in Capsule 131. But this sketch by Bobo that I found in Capsule 121 was one of the most adorable and endearing discoveries I could have made. The art didn't have to be quote-unquote good to have an even greater impact on the way their capsule was received. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't really good art contained in any of the capsules either. This digital painting I found in Urkfur's Stalker Taming Kit as part of Capsule 313 was one of the most unique capsule themes I found in all 500 that I opened. This capsule had a complete theme to it, and like the title said, it was a kit for taming stalkers, with a piece of scrap metal and 2 peepers to help make some toothy friends. A concept I'm sure the author behind Capsule 260 would have really liked, because they named their stalker friend Dennis. Dennis was far from the only creature that I learned of while discovering these capsules. All told, I ended up with no less than 15 unique pets from different players, the majority of which were actually hoverfish and not cuttlefish. It's easy to see why these little guys are so endearing with their little faces, and the way they seem almost happy to be held. Each capsule that contained a pet made sure to inform me of their pet's name, their routine, and asked me to take care of them. Harold, Harvey, Squish, Mr. Peeps, and many, many more were entrusted to my care by people so moved by their existence that they wanted to pass on their love to someone they didn't even know. Most players left messages describing their own adventures below the waves, talking about what fears they overcame, what journeys they set upon, and what friendships they forged. Surprisingly, despite the Reaper Leviathan arguably being one of the most recognizable and well-known aspects of Subnautica, Ted only made an appearance in 9 capsules, and the Ghost Leviathan only appeared in 6. People found it much more meaningful to leave nice images for the people that found their capsules, like the equal 9 images of reefbacks, or 14 pictures of cuttlefish, and an overwhelming 155 pictures of people's base designs, a lot of which were really cool to see. Some featured concept art or other official Unknown Worlds art, like the one I found in capsule number 14. Although I definitely prefer the individual art, I do think Alanos had one of the best written messages of any that I found, because it was a rewritten version of a song to fit Subnautica, for which the actual note I wrote in my spreadsheet was, quote-unquote, lyrics to Creeper Aw Man but Subnautica, because I could not for the life of me remember the title to DJ's Got Us Falling in Love Again, but goodness knows Captain Sparkles had an undeniable impact on my childhood. And apparently Alanos' childhood too, considering they left this as their parting message to the sunken world. That was far from the only creatively inclined text message too. 3 people wrote poems about their Subnautica experiences, most of which were touching in a sort of sad way. The title of Capsule 104 was Requiem, which I think is an accurate means to describe the way the end of Subnautica feels. In some ways, it's a solemn message for the impact this game has on people. Others went for more lore-friendly style messages, like Capsule 82 advertising Altera's campaign to study xenobiology, or Capsule 458, which was just straight-up Altera LifePod propaganda, and it was quite funny. Others who took the humorous route advertised 4546b as a travel destination, or simply used their capsule as a space to tell a little joke, like the joke Savitar left behind in Capsule 243. For the rest of the notes, I also analyzed the kinds of things people found worth mentioning. Unsurprisingly, the top theme that emerged was that this game is terrifying for a lot of players, but the vast majority of those same players were the people who went out of their way to mention the beauty of the sunken world, and I think there's something inherently beautiful in that. Subnautica proudly carries the title of being a horror game for a lot of players, a fact that I could never truly get behind because this game is in no way horrifying to me as a marine biologist, but so many people wrote about being scared by the depths, the large creatures, or simply the vast unknown lurking all around you. But in their terror and all around them, so many people found the environments that scared them to be simultaneously beautiful. Capsules like number 7, titled Goodbye, Beautiful and Terrifying by Omingo, or Capsule 16, titled A Beautifully Hostile World by S. Pullen, or the author behind Capsule 141, titled This Place is Beautiful, were among the nearly 200 separate capsules that highlighted this concept. Evidently, the combination of terror and beauty is something that's important to the Subnautica community. But also, I wanted to feature some of the unique and funny capsules that I found, like number 154, which was just titled The Light, It Burns, and it contains 6 light sticks. Although this note did warn me not to turn them up to full brightness, and I gotta say, I can understand why this note said that, the light does burn. Or Capsule 243, which was an empty capsule that simply had this lovely cartoon attached as its only information. I later learned that this capsule, entitled Funny Joke, was one of the original time capsules left behind by one of the game's playtesters, and it's cool to see that it can still be found by players today. I actually found another time capsule by the same playtester as the 386th capsule that I opened, and this one followed suit with many of the others that I discussed that introduced me to their pet fish that they had kept in their aquarium. While the vast majority of these time capsules were wholesome, captivating little stories, some players went down a different path entirely, instead choosing to highlight the more ominous aspects of this game. Like the author behind Capsule 385 only cryptically titled their capsule, We Shouldn't Have Gone So Deep, and the text only said, He Waits Below, which certainly evokes some strong emotions for this game in particular. Or the author of Capsule 120, which was simply titled Into the Depths, with an apt picture to boot. So while most people highlighted the combination of beauty and terror, some went far to one side or to the other as well. You may also notice that I've tried to credit the creators behind various capsules when I know who they are, but only 94 of the 500 capsules I opened had signatures or indications of who authored their messages. And even then, about a quarter of those were non-signatures, like a friend, or a survivor, or the name Riley Robinson, which is the canon name of Subnautica's playable character. Some went out of their way to leave a signature that wouldn't be identifiable, like the author of Capsule 454, who signed in such a way as to make a lore-friendly explanation for the lack of signature. Or the similar signature in Capsule 98 that was titled Remember My Name, wherein the author couldn't even remember their own name for us to carry on. But for the few that did leave actual signatures, some gave themselves titles or offices associated with Altera, like Chief Engineer Aaron Lewandowski of Capsule 6, Chief Engineer Fletcher Thompson of Capsule 32, or Chief Engineer Tom of Capsule 100. Apparently Altera hires a lot of chief engineers. But for the 94 signatures that were included, I'll put all of those signatures on screen now, and if you see a capsule of yours and you happen to see this video, I'd love to hear what motivated you to make your capsule the way that you did. As of yet, I focused quite a lot on the stories these time capsules tell, but not as much on the other half of the capsules, the actual items that players have left behind. The short answer is a whole lot of water. For some reason, the vast majority of players will leave behind some food or water for whoever discovers their time capsule, to the point that opening the 500 capsules left me with over 250 bottles of water. In fact, 184 different time capsules, about 37% of them, had at least one bottle of water in them. The most prevalent was this large filtered water that you get out of the water filtration base element, and that grants the highest hydration per use ratio of any item in the game, and keeping water on you is definitely an important part of survival in this game, so it's considerate to leave it behind. Of the 276 water bottles I received, a staggering 206 of them were these large filtered water bottles, and exactly one of them was a reclaimed water to boot, which is a little gross. But I did also get 4 different still suits to get my own reclaimed water, which was a little bit better. The second most included item was medkits, and most people who gave medkits only gave 1 or 2, making them one of the most ubiquitous items to receive. But potentially one of the most surprisingly common items in these time capsules was the arcade gorge toy that you could find in the Aurora, and I received almost 50 of these in the 500 capsules, which was shockingly 10 more toys than I got of the Stay Calm Kitty poster, which is the item that I consider to be the most valuable to pass on to other players. Other useful common items included 89 nutrient blocks, which makes sense as a non-perishable dense food item, but I also received 50 marble melon seeds to help me kickstart my own food farm. Surprisingly, the marble melon seeds were far more abundant than any other plant category, with the second closest being the gel sacks and seeds with a combined 33 appearances. People were much more likely to leave behind items they thought would be of use to the players coming after them, like the author of Capsule 236, who was really into computer chips and ironically left most of the materials to make 2 chips, instead of just including 6 computer chips, of which I received 15 in other time capsules. Other players included tools or various vehicle upgrades to help the recipient. The most common tool was the Thermoblade with 96 unique appearances, seconded by the scanner with 33 appearances. The primary cause for giving a scanner wasn't necessarily for the scanner itself, but rather for the battery contained inside. Around 2/3 of the tools I received came with normal batteries, but 1/3 of them came with the upgraded ion batteries. Normally, story progression items like depth modules, precursor keys, and ion power aren't allowed in time capsules, and instead those slots would be empty when another player opens the capsule. You can only circumvent that by including ion batteries within allowed tools like scanners, habitat builders, laser cutters, etc. The only reason I find the amount of normal batteries amusing is because the vast majority of tools I received with the normal batteries were only partially charged, so I assume the authors just threw in whatever tools they were actively using into the time capsule and called it a day. However, the time capsules that included ion batteries by far and large ensured that the batteries I received were full power, which was a nice bonus. As for the materials that can't be passed through time capsules, I assume that is the cause behind the unexpected 18 time capsules I opened that gave me literally nothing. 5 of those didn't even have a message or a title, so I assumed there were repeats of a capsule that I had already opened that also had nothing in it. Aside from the funny, heartfelt, or otherwise notable time capsules I opened, 4 capsules in particular caught me off guard. 3 of them were because I actually recognized the capsule, and 2 of which I could even identify the author of. First, Capsule 413 was the infamous
"You can throw me all you like, but I won't ever come back"
that I first saw in Steve Kong's video. But did you know that despite the meme and the image, that time capsule only contains a single scanner and nothing else? Not even a boomerang fish. The second capsule to catch me off guard was number 209, which I knew for certain was left behind by the Drift King himself, Irish gaming YouTuber RT Game. This particular capsule was wild to find because I was actively watching him on another monitor while I was opening these capsules and cataloging their contents. Granted, I was watching him absolutely destroy Balatro instead of his series on being terrified of the ocean, but I had rewatched Dan's Subnautica series recently enough to immediately recognize that this is indeed the cursed capsule he made at the end of his playthrough. And yes, please do like and subscribe because I am indeed desperate. RT is a YouTuber whom I very much enjoy and admire, so finding his capsule in one of my worlds was a nice little serotonin boost to get me through the several hundred capsules I had yet to open at that point. One of which happened to be the third capsule I recognized instantaneously. Capsule number 244 happened to be Salvner's AGDQ 2020 time capsule. For the uninitiated, Salvner is a Subnautica content creator and speedrunner who makes some pretty cool stuff that you should definitely check out. AGDQ stands for Annual Games Done Quick, which is a speedrunning convention and livestream that happens twice a year to raise money for charity. Salvner ran Subnautica for the 2020 AGDQ and left behind this capsule during that exact run, a run that I have watched dozens of times and is one of my favorites to revisit. As a speedrunner myself, running a game for a GDQ convention has always been a small dream of mine, so finding some connection to that world was really cool to find. And finally, the last time capsule I wanted to highlight individually was number 449. Not because there was anything particularly touching or funny about this message, although it did introduce me to Chub Shark, and not because the loot was anything special, but because this happened to be the very same time capsule that I found and recorded during my own Let's Play of this game that I uploaded not too long ago. That means it is certainly possible, albeit unlikely, that a player could find the exact same time capsule twice in a given playthrough. and absolutely possible to find repeats between multiple saves. In the 500 capsules I opened, approximately 100 of them were repeats, or at least what I assume are repeats, given that they granted identical materials to a capsule I had already opened and recorded in my spreadsheet, but didn't give me a new message or a new pop-up. Theoretically, this shouldn't happen. If we use the low estimate of players from SteamDB to say that at least 6 million people have bought the game on Steam, and then we use Steam's achievement tracker to assess that at least 14% of those players have left at least one time capsule, we should theoretically have no less than 840,000 different time capsules to choose from. Even if we assume that 90% of those didn't make it past moderation, we should theoretically still have 84,000 unique time capsules to open. But here I was with a 1 in 5 repeat pattern in just 500 capsules. That being said, Subnautica does employ a moderation system to ensure that time capsules are safe to be seen by another player. And yes, new capsules are still being approved. This very fun capsule I found by Mr. Gary Nautica was authored very recently on February 12th of 2026, so new capsules are definitely still being added and found in-game. If you add your time capsule to the library, make sure it doesn't have any of the aforementioned illegal story progression items, and upvote your capsule on the website to increase its chances of being seen by other players in-game. Mayhaps then there won't be so many repeats in the future if anyone else decides they're stupid enough to open 500 of these things. Overall, I think the time capsules demonstrate the beautiful nature of Subnautica itself. This game will test your limits, push your capacity for empathy, and send you off into the unknown all over again. These little splices of joy can have such positive impacts on the way another person experiences 4546B, and I think it is one of the most immersive ways a game has provided for interacting with other people in a single-player game. But this video wouldn't be complete without me sending a time capsule of my own, encompassing everything I discovered throughout my journey. So here it is, a time capsule that encapsulates the tone and messages I received from the wonderful Subnautica community. Whether you boarded an Altera ship hoping to escape where you were or looking forward to where you were going, your arrival on 4546B holds many more adventures for you. The deep has kept its secrets for a long time, but they're now yours to learn. To keep you company on this journey, I pass into your loving care some of the critters left behind by those who came before me. A hoverfish named Squish, a peeper named Mr. Peeps, and a hoopfish named Jerry. There were many more like them, but these ones have stories of their own to tell, and I hope you'll discover them on your own. The world can be a lonely place. While danger may not lurk around every corner when you leave the sunken world, at least while you reside on 4546B, you'll have some new friends to keep you company. Be safe, stay calm, and keep your wits about you. And above all else, be excellent to each other. Hallie.